Welcome to 1 Million Cups Kansas City. The mission of 1 Million Cups is to lower the barrier of access to education, resources, and connection for all types of new and aspiring entrepreneurs throughout the United States. 1 Million Cup communities gather across the country every Wednesday to share presentations and make authentic connections. 1 Million Cup events are free, open to the public, and always have coffee.
Welcome to 1 Million Cups. If you've not signed in, please scan the QR code. Actually, they're around. They're on the back of the chairs. On the back of this present thing, it says attend. You could scan. That's the same. It's the same QR code. So if you could scan that, we really appreciate it. So anyway, you can do that. Okay. First of all, we'd like to thank the Kauffman Foundation for giving us this fantastic space. We very much appreciate it, and also for the cookies and coffee. And by the way, we now have gluten-free cookies if you need it. They're in the wrappers back there. So we're very appreciative to the Kauffman Foundation about that. And so a little bit about the Kauffman Foundation. It works with communities and entrepreneurs and education to increase opportunities that allow all people to learn, take risks, and own their own success. That's what we're all about here in this group too. So, is anybody who's new to I met a few people who are new. Who's new to 1 Million Cups? Oh my goodness! So we have a little something for you that we're gonna pass out. So our other organizers are coming forward, and
I think we may need more than that.
You can keep your hands raised if you're new.
Yeah, raise your hand. Very good. It's so good to see all these new faces. We really hope you become regulars. We'd love to see you here every week and invite your friends. Yay! Just good. Got one hand over here. So okay. So the mission of 1 Million Cups, as it says here, is to lower the barrier of access to education and resources and connection for all types of new and aspiring entrepreneurs throughout the United States. And we really emphasize the all part because it's important that everybody has equal access to be an entrepreneur. So what is 1 Million Cups? We're totally volunteer led. Started here in Kansas City. Now there's over 120 groups of 1 Million Cups all over the country. We're meeting this morning. Having 1 Million Cups is really pretty cool. And so we'll start off by each of our two presenters today will talk for about 6 minutes, and we'll have 20 minutes of Q&A after that, so you can ask them questions. And 1 Million Cups is about authentic connections, not just networking to maybe get money or something, but it's really to be a community and to help each other out. So we're emphasizing stories and presentations and not business pitches. It's not Shark Tank. I guess we can make that comparison sometimes. So and also, so as I said, we're community led. We have organizers here. We've got let's see, raise your hand if you're an organizer. Suzanne and Don and Taylor there. So if you have any questions about 1 Million Cups, just see one of us, and we're happy to help you with that. We're always looking for new organizers, and there's a lot more that goes on to 1 Million Cups than just what we see here. This is kind of the easy part. We have a lot that goes into it. We have social media and all kinds of things like that. If you'd like to be one of our organizers, just talk to one of us, or you can scan this code and go on the 1 Million Cups website and get information about that. So we'd love to have you join us if you have some time. And so our principles of the Q&A, your role is to offer thoughtful, constructive questions to understand and help, focus on curiosity over criticism, collaboration over critique, and please give actionable, kind feedback to people. So good. And so we're about to get started here. Please silence your cell phones. We know business goes on. If you have to take a call, please step out. There's a phone booth out here. You could step inside and use that if you like. And be careful about, there's other meetings going on here about talking next to an open door. There might be people meeting in that room. So be careful with that. So we'll bring our first person up to right now, Brittany, and she'll take it away.
Show it all, y'all.
All right, hello. Good morning. My name is Dr. Brittany Connors, and I am the Chief Executive Optimist of Optimistic Theory. So, before we get started, I would like us to enjoy 10 seconds of silence so that you can see what I do. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Let's begin. So, my story starts with my family, and this is my dad. This is my dad. By looking at this picture, you might not be able to tell that he has had 2 major stroke episodes and over 20 mini strokes. And so when this happened in 2019, as a doctor of occupational therapy, I was ready and trained to rehab my dad and help do that. What I was not ready for was becoming a caregiver, but I used all the tools that I knew. So I did self-care, I did community care with my siblings and my family. Of course, I had financial resources at that time, thank goodness. I used empathy, active listening, but there was one tool that I really needed, but it felt like I needed to break the glass to do so. But I needed a moment, so I had to break the glass. When I broke the glass and the glass shattered to the ground, so did I. I sank to the side of my bed for 8 hours in silence, and it was a tool that I never knew that I needed. And so from that point, I knew I had to help other people use silence as a tool, expand their capacity, and process life head on directly. So I started the business. I started doing online and offline events with folks, got a lot of great feedback and requests for more in-person events, and that's when I knew I had something solid. So our services right now, our newest service is called Set Your Terms, and it's an opening slot for events, summits, and conferences where I come in and I expand people's capacity in real time. Early in my career, I was really interested in workplace health, and so I studied absenteeism, which we all get pretty well, right? It's when people don't show up. But I was really curious about presenteeism, where we're in the room, but we're not really in the room. And so my next forte, or like area that I want to forge in, is to see that ROI, see the cost, see the complications at the event summit level to help organizers and planners actually save money, increase the audience engagement, etc. The retreats, for silent retreats, our flagship offering is called Half Day Hush. So it is a 4-hour retreat. However, you're only in silence for 2 of those hours. Every 30 minutes, myself and volunteers come around as you do quiet activities. You enjoy being silent and you just practice being in silence. I also do consulting with individuals and companies on how to embed silence in everyday life and work operations, and then workshops that are customized around the neuroscience and benefits of silence. At first, I thought what made me different was that I came into people's homes, but what I really came to realize was that our focus on function, everyday life, and practice was what set us apart. If you would have asked me a year ago, I would have said my biggest challenge was, how do I get people to see me outside of spirituality and wellness? And a strategy that I've been using that is really working is going to places where silence is unexpected, right? And so now that my presentation is better, I'm getting in better rooms, my challenges include, how do I find and connect with the decision makers? Where are the places and stages I should go? What partnerships can I forge? And how do I connect with service offerings that people are familiar with? Since I did a study of about 75 people, and a majority of them had never heard of a silent retreat, let alone had been. So here's what I've done to help people see silence in a new way. These are also the ways that I've been booked and paid. So I have done workshops. So this was in Washington, D.C. for Black Women in Food Summit. As you can see in this picture, here's people enjoying the opening that I did. I recently partnered with Dear Society here and Crossroads Hotels for a different series. I was on the radio live from Jasper's Kitchen talking about the connection between silence and making our meals better. I've done virtual silent retreats. This is a picture of people enjoying the Half Day Hush offering podcast. I did free pop-ups at Total Wine to help people taste and enjoy their wine. I connected with a landscaping company because after projects were complete, I wanted people to really soak in their new projects. And that's been fun. And then I started doing like free walks every month. My newest one is Startup Fest, which is in Montreal, Canada. I'll be there in 2 weeks. And I'm really excited to open day 2 of their festival. And there's going to be like 15,000 people there, which is, thank you. It's wild. Really quickly, my lessons learned. Primary constraints have been addressed, and I'm still looking for ideas on that. I would do great on getting on stages like now, but what I was not doing was inviting people to work with me and then following up consistently. I would have high interest and low clients at times. Pricing and offers have been a journey, so I'm learning that and working with Eiffel now. Relationship building has been my best friend, but it takes a lot of time and that interrupts my cash flow. But what I love is that this is industry agnostic. So I could be at a tech conference, I could be at a Black Women in Food, I could be anywhere. And I love that flexibility. So my end goal is to travel around and to do this. I eventually want to have licensed facilitators and a framework as well. So knowing that I want to travel the world doing this because this is my mission, my question to you all is, what introductions can be made to small businesses, nonprofits, and corporations in Kansas City? How can I get in bigger rooms? And how can I target corporations? And this is my first package.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I guess since I have the microphone, I can ask the first question maybe. Is that okay? So I'm curious with all of the talk about AI and how AI is going to take your meeting notes for you. And I'm wondering if that is maybe a possible area for you. Because, you know, if I'm sitting in a meeting, I'm thinking, oh, AI is taking the notes, I don't need to pay attention. Do you see any opportunities there?
You know, I do see opportunities. I haven't connected the dots, so I know there's some AI folks in the room. So I'm open. I'm definitely open to ideas. I will say as a whole for technology, because we are so immersed daily, that if it's really like a solid space from that, because I want you to come back to your tools stronger as a human with your human function and capacity. However, I am open for ideas. And the AI people, go. Come on with it.
Kareem Rush, I'm a former pro athlete.
Hi.
So how would you, classify this? Because we do a lot of mindfulness training, yoga, meditation. How would you differentiate what you do in like mindfulness?
Yeah, so I think it's definitely complementary. I am coming from a functional capacity human performance lens. I did like a mental health walk with the Kansas City Royals a couple weeks ago. So like really getting in the form and the function. As an occupational therapist, I can break down any activity that somebody is maybe struggling to do. And so that's really the difference, the function on the focus, what are the modifications that we can do so that your mindfulness and everything else can be better. So I almost see myself as like the foundation for your everyday life skills that can change and be different in every other arena to complement those things.
Great. I have some great relationship with you and KC.
Okay.
I would love to.
Yay, thank you. That's fantastic because I do want to work with more sports teams and things, and I would love that.
Okay. Hey, my name's Alicia. Okay,
Yeah.
Alicia Logan with Legacy Inspired HR Solutions. So I see a lot of room for this. How do you plan not only to work with small businesses, but maybe consultants that work with different groups? I say this selfishly.
Yeah.
So because as an HR consultant, I know plenty of nonprofits. I work with different companies that are looking for things outside of my scope.
Okay.
And so have you thought about how you can build that network to almost be like a partner or something like that that can be brought to them as they're a trusted source?
Yes.
I'm already doing it, but I just want to put that out there for everybody else.
Okay. I will say I had a meeting last week with a new mentor who literally just planted that seed in my mind of nonprofits. He told me to try to start building relationships with executive directors and CEOs there. So I don't have the answer yet, but please help me build it.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay.
Hi, Shalante Lewis, owner of NAPS Postpartum Support Circle. My question is always going to be about kiddos.
Yes.
How are you taking what you do into situations with people who normally don't get silenced because they are stay-at-home parents, or the kids go to school but you're still a full-time parent, or whatever the case may be? Like, how do you Is there a way that you teach them to be able to separate in a way? Like silence is unrealistic in my household, so.
Yeah, no, that's real. And so I love this question because when I do push in the home, so I have something called, you can become a silent partner. Okay, so what that means is that you can support somebody's silence from behind the scenes. So let's say you become a silent partner, you're a mom, you don't have silence ever. They will hire me to come in and come work with you one-on-one in your family. I'll look at your family routines. I will find a pocket because it's not impossible. It's just that it's not visible because the noise is usually there. And so with some time and some expertise, and I get to know you, I'll do a profile, we'll find it together, and then I will follow up with you either weekly or whatever feels good. I also try to push into places where I might catch you. So that's why I'm trying to do activations in grocery stores or like where I might find you, even if it's as small as that 10 seconds. Some people can be greatly changed by like, oh, I did do that and I didn't have to go to Bali. I can do it right here. What else can I do? That's really to shift the mind. Yeah, thank you. A CEO plan.
Dunning, with DMV.
Mhm.
My question to you though is, are you working with hospice, since that is what put you on this journey? And as I was a caregiver, as my mother-in-law went through hospice, are you working with hospice to bring that to people that are struggling through that? Because I remember sitting in a closet with silence, and I just think that that's a natural transition to that.
Thank you. I have not yet. And because I didn't cross that journey with my dad, thankfully he's 67, he's still here. But I would love to be in that realm because I think it's a lot of grief in that room. I think it's a lot of memories in that room. It's a lot of heaviness and weightiness in that. So I would love to, and I would love connections to that world. I would love to build myself up as well because I know that's hard work. And I don't want to pretend that it isn't, but I do think I could do some really great work with families and the care team and the hospitals. Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Hi, Brittany. Nathan Hall.
Hi,
How are you?
Good.
Great job. So excited to see you today. Just curious, there's so many different things to find your niche, right?
Mhm.
We're all looking for everything. What would you say your top three are that you've seen the most success with? So maybe we can help make connections.
Yes, so top three now would be the summits and conferences. I've been invited repeatedly at this moment, so definitely them. Staff retreats would be my second one. And then I would say my last one would be community activation. So if we were talking today about an event that she's going to do in the fall now that I'll be part of. So I would say those are my top three.
Yeah, so I wonder if schools or education would be a good place because my wife is an educator, she's a teacher. And I mean, it is an epidemic that kids do not know how to be silent. They do not know right? And so if you could go in and teach kids, schools are looking for ways to fight mental health challenges. And I think that could be, I mean, you get one school, there are a million of them.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, I had not thought about that. I would love to do that. And thank you for stating that the kids don't know how. I would say that we as adults don't know how either. And so I would love to start in schools and work with families. I had a recommendation maybe a couple weeks ago to even look at daycares, and I had never thought about that. That could be cool. Makes sense now that we're saying it out loud, but you know, that's why we need our community. So yes, I would love to be in schools.
I have a comment over here. So I'm a part of an organization that takes small businesses to South by Southwest every year.
Help, okay. Yes.
And that week it's long. And no one thinks of South by Southwest as quiet at all. But that also could be a space for the, what is it called? The proposals for speaking. It actually opened yesterday. So happy to extend that to you as well. But I think that that's a space not just for the communities that attend South by, but also for the practitioners of the groups of us that are putting on South by. That would be a great space for you to tap into.
Okay, wonderful. I would love that. Last year, I was an Aspen Ideas Festival fellow. So I went to, it's happening right now. I think the health version is happening. I tried to return this year since I am now an alum of the program. I just wasn't able to, but I think with the 250th, they already have the program set. However, I would love to get into more arenas like that. Yeah.
Hey, Brittany, great, great presentation.
Thank you.
I have a few connections for you that I think would be really helpful with a couple of friends of mine who are starting to get into retreats. But have you considered also working with the arts? A lot of writers, they get lost and get writer's block because they've got too much going on. And so then getting in there and actually silencing them, I think would be really beneficial. And I think we should talk about maybe you doing a workshop or something with us as well.
Okay, I have thought about the arts, but I came in from the film angle. So I lived in LA for a little bit and did a couple retreats for some women directors. And it was really fun, but I just wasn't in LA long enough to build relationships. But yeah, I would love to continue that work in new areas of art.
Wonderful. And Kathy Coates is, she does a lot of promotion and pop-up festivals that she's starting to do these retreats, but they're specifically for small business entrepreneurs.
Okay.
So I think, you know, being an entrepreneur, you understand that it's just constant. I have to run. So I think that it would be really important there as well.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Brittany.
Hi.
I would like to have you speak to your capacity to identify someone's limits and capacity in terms of maybe they don't have a direct mental health issue, but that is a performance issue. Like you've done for myself, it was a capacity where I was limiting myself in my business, my own scope, and my ability to reach new clients and clientele. Someone that doesn't necessarily have let's say, emotional problem, but truly a functional problem, and reaching those people, like, what is your capacity, or how do you use silence to reach that capacity?
Yes, that's such a good question. I think I use silence as a thing to bring up things that might be under the surface, because if I don't have anxiety or I don't have a diagnosis, I do maybe feel like, oh, this is just how I do it. And if you have maybe a second pair of eyes on how you do it, and I can give you good feedback that's constructive, but also highlights maybe where some areas of work are, that tends to be the moment where, okay, maybe I do have this thought process. Maybe I'm not going as far or wide as I'm allowing myself to, but giving a lot of compassion, never being judgmental, and showing the possibilities always.
Hi, Dr. Brittany. My name is Stella Ayers. I love this, by the way.
Thank you.
I live in nature, and I believe that silence is important, because I believe that we as adults, I know for me anyway, we are afraid of being quiet.
Yes, we are.
You know, because it's like your mind is just constantly going. Have you considered just having a silence retreat out in nature, but actually challenging our mind to be quiet?
Oh my goodness, yes. I have definitely considered that. I've experienced forest bathing before. I love that. I think it's just getting everybody outside and finding the time. It's the hardest thing. I didn't say that as a challenge early, but we are so stacked. And I think the thing is that we're stacked with things we love already. So it's hard to, kind of get somebody to say, like, let's step away from something that you actually do well at and that you're good at, and being creative about how that can help all of those things. But yes, I would love to reap more of the benefits of that, enjoy that with a group, and do that more consistently.
I already have a few.
Yes.
Brittany.
Yes.
You already know, I wish there were a million of you. This thing about the windows of opportunity, or finding the pockets of time for people, I've been on your website. It's not clear on there.
Okay.
And I think it would be a great doorway for many people who would like to find silence for themselves, for their kids. If it's clear, this is an offer, because I don't remember it being a clear offer. Maybe I missed it.
Oh, no, you probably didn't.
But
yeah.
And to me, that seems like a great gateway for a lot of people. So I'm just going to encourage you to make that more visible.
I will. Thank you. And I'll reach out and get some more help.
I'm here.
Okay. Thank you, Scott. Yeah. Bartering is now open. Yes. I'm open and ready.
Hi, Brittany. I'm Tom Huckabee from gigtrue.com. Just a quick question. I didn't hear it, but I'm sure you have it. When you're speaking to CEOs, whether it's companies, organizations, or nonprofits, how do you define their ROI?
Oh, that is such a great question. It's usually I'm interviewing them to find that out. I try to do as much research as I can to see what outcomes they'd like to have. In my mind, as the OT, I'm looking at function, I'm looking at all of the things that run and how they're running well, but I really try to listen and put that together and come back with a new set, or if they've given me something specifically, I give my expertise on like how to change it, how to improve it, what's actually working, and how do we actually maybe up some of the things that are going well. But that's usually the process of, in that consulting moment, really working with the team plus the CEO to find or like refine what the ROI is. So that can be, different from company to company, but yeah. And also open for suggestions on that.
Okay, I was just gonna piggyback off of that. What is your like pipeline timeline? So if somebody was ready right now, like right now today, what does that look like? Is it 2 weeks that you're standing this up, 3, just so people have an idea? And then it may differ per customer. So back to his question, CEOs, people that got money. Allegedly.
Yes.
What does that look like if they're like, we're trying to plan something before end of year, how things can happen?
Yes, that's a great question. So I'm usually ready to go in about a week or two, and I can move faster. It just depends. I find that usually I am going along like budget cycles. So sometimes that makes it go like get pushed out a little longer, but me myself at the current capacity, a couple weeks. I am ready.
Brittany, great presentation.
Thank you.
I didn't see on your website, do you have a rate sheet and what your rate range is? And also, it isn't clear to me, do you also do individual sessions?
Yes. So I do not have a rate sheet on the website right now because it is currently being refined in the phases of like high interest, low clients. I have realized that I've been operating at a loss at some point. So I'm actually working with Eiffel right now to get my financial projections and like clear up my pricing. So before the retreats were anywhere between $225 and $375, but you would get pre-calls to prep you since we are, we're not used to the silence. I call and I connect with you before. There's also a post call. I start doing private either events at $3K, and then for organizational things, it starts at about the same rate, but those are most definitely going to change. And then I'm forgetting your second question. Oh, yes. I do individual sessions. However, I'm working with my mentor to decide, should I continue to do that or solely focus on the corporations and organizations? I am leaning more towards focusing on helping more people at one time, but I can make adjustments.
Just a quick question. So when you are, say for instance, like for the event we talked about in September, if you are in need of silent partners for situations where children are present, is that a space to where you already have people coming in, or could you collaborate with the organizations you're working with to kind of train some people before the event to be the silent partners?
That is a great question because for right now, they've been strictly financial partners. But I would love to train some people to come with me. I have had one volunteer with me on a few events, but yeah, I would definitely love to have more people come with me at this stage. To be very honest, I've had a lot of people that have wanted to work with me, but this is the clearest I've been. So when they have wanted to work with me, I didn't know what to tell them what to do. But now I'm much better at that. And I have so many things that we all can do to make this a success. But yes, I would love to mobilize them and have them on the ground for sure.
Over here.
Hi.
I'm Celeste. Just a bit of feedback.
Okay.
I'm scaling a business too, and I'm having to learn how to remove myself from being the one-on-one.
Yes.
When you say you do these calls in advance and the post calls, I highly recommend recording videos because you're probably saying the same thing over and over and over again. Have it on YouTube and just send them the YouTube video. And that way it removes you from having to spend your time, which is costing you a lot.
Yes, it is. Okay. I would love to do that. Thank you.
that was Celeste, one of our former organizers. She did a lot of good work. So we have one final question for you here. So what can we as a community do to help you?
Yes, so I have 4 things. So 1, if I have introductions to companies, organizations, that could be a great client since that's how I make my money. 2, intros to the event organizers, conference planners for Set Your Terms. 3, I am interviewing now people for my new community that I'm calling front row folks, which is why I've recruited a lot of people to the front row. And then don't let me forget. My last one is just to continue to follow my journey on LinkedIn because that is the main platform that I'm on and I'm beginning to get active. And that is my commitment to making sure that more people know about me. So thank you.
Thank you. We've had a few more people come in since I think we started. If you would please scan our barcode you see around either the attend on the back of those cards sitting around or the 10 cards, if you could register your presence, we really appreciate it so we can know how many people we have and keep our room size here. This is important for us. So, hey, next we've got Joel. You want to come on up?
Woo! Go, Joel!
And your slide will be excellent.
Okay, I'm not sure how I'm going to follow up with that. It's so interesting that such a small person can have so much energy, and the fact that her whole focus is on silence and she's so energetic. It's just bizarre, but yeah. So unfortunately, she went first, and so she set the bar really high. So I'm going to try to at least match her energy.
You got this, right?
Thank you. Yeah, actually, yeah. So I'm Joel Crampton. I'm the founder of CMO Alpha. And I created a job for myself, but I haven't really created a business. I think there's a lot of entrepreneurs right here that have that same issue where they've gone on and started their own thing, and now they're trying to figure out how to scale it up and get them out of the day-to-day. So Celeste, you had a good question about that, or how can you get yourself out of the day-to-day? So that's kind of the whole point of my presentation is how to get myself elevated to a point where I've grown a business, not just a job. So it's me. So my company, our company, it's just really me as a sole entrepreneur. So I've got a dog. She's my chief marketing officer. I've got a couple kids. They don't do anything. I do have a part-time marketing person that's helping me too. But the reason I started my company was I'd been laid off 4 times in my career. And after the 4th time, I heard the universe finally saying, okay, I need to do something different. And so started my own company. And I always wanted to start a business. I've done a marketing career of 20 plus years, and so it made sense for me to continue marketing. Most of my experience have been in financial services, so I kind of took my own medicine and took that niche focus into financial services. So my background, of course, is in marketing and in financial services, and wealth management is kind of the focus of my niche. So I've kind of some of what I tell the clients that I work with is to niche down to a point where it becomes almost uncomfortable. Like you don't think there's going to be a big enough prospect base for you to be successful. But with wealth management, there's 300,000 financial advisors in the United States, 15,000, 20,000 companies across the United States. So I think there's a big enough pool for me to get 5 or 6 clients. So that was the idea of why I started the company and kind of the niche down. Our services. So I'm a fractional chief marketing officer, fractional CMO, fractional market leader, whatever you want to call me. I help firms turn marketing chaos into organized revenue generating strategies. So my whole thing is to figure out how the company's positioned, how they differentiate themselves, and then build strategies around that and then execute on that. So that's kind of differentiate myself as a fractional leader versus a marketing agency that does a lot of tactical execution, some strategy work. And then there's consultants who do a lot of strategy, but not a lot of execution. So I kind of operate in the middle of that, where I do both strategy and execution. So that's kind of how I differentiate myself and stand out kind of in the marketplace. My firm is built for those RAs, which are registered investment advisors, wealth managers, but I also work with other companies in financial services, so fintech companies, anybody in adjacent in that world. So kind of those regulated industries are the ones that I have most success in. So the reason that firms would hire me is I'm a lot less expensive than a full-time hire, hence the fractional. So I'm only working quote unquote part-time for firms anywhere between 7 to 10 hours a week. It just depends on the level of engagement, usually how big the firm is and how much we actually need to get accomplished. So my services, biggest challenges is I'm a little tiny company in a huge industry. So in the past year, I've done a lot of things to increase the visibility of the firm. Ideally, I'd like to earn more speaking opportunities, get my name out there. Ideally, want to build the awareness with the right firms, and so the right firms for me are firms that are small enough that they don't have full-time marketing teams, but big enough that they actually have money to pay me. I think that's important. I'm not a not-for-profit. My kids do like to eat, and so does my dog. So another big challenge is just driving more consistent lead pipeline. The problem with me is that I can only serve 5 to 10 clients at a time, because if I'm working 7 to 10 hours per client, and math doesn't math very well, like 10 times 5, that's 50 hours. I'm already up to 70 hours. I don't want 2 full-time jobs.
Right.
The money's great, but I also like to sleep and eat, have some fun. So the biggest challenge is really getting me out of the day-to-day execution. And Celeste, to your point, is like, how do I get myself out of that chair so I am still delivering the same high level of service that my clients are paying my firm for, but I'm not doing all the work. And so that'd be a big challenge I'm trying to figure out as well. And hopefully I can get some advice on how to build that team out, to scale the operations, bring the right people on board to help me figure out what I need to do to scale the business. So I've tried a lot of things. I think we're all, as business owners, just try a lot of things, and a lot of the firms that I help with are doing the same thing, where they basically throw a bunch of stuff against the wall and hoping something sticks. So I consistently post on LinkedIn once a day, try to provide some thought leadership. I have a weekly newsletter that goes out to, it's up to 3,000 people now that I've selected. They haven't opted in. I said, hey, I think you'll be a great client for me. They can always opt out. That list continues to build every month, or every week, I guess, as I add more people to it. I'm starting to go to more industry conferences, to do more networking events. I have a podcast that we started about almost a year ago. I have a fellow fractional CMO. The podcast is named CMOs Without Borders. So we're up to 20 episodes now. I do a lot of targeted outreach to financial firms. Again, the ones that I think I can help. So I'm trying to generate some awareness and some conversations with them. Brittany, to your point, like I was trying to develop my packages and trying to find the right pricing model that works for me and works for my clients. So I've been doing some work around that. And then just building more referrals. I don't get a ton of referrals in right now. So I like to become one of those people that is growing through referrals only versus direct outreach, because that's just, it's a lot of work to do that. Learned a lot of lessons along the way. I think the niche is resonating. There's, like I said, a big audience that need my help. And so I think niching down to the point where I was concerned there wouldn't be enough business, but there's plenty of business. I've got a full load of clients right now. I've got a small pipeline. Like, my pipeline doesn't have to be hundreds long. I can only serve a few. So that's working. I'm starting to increase my visibility on LinkedIn. That's building up my credibility. I'm starting to have to be included in those conversations that industry partners have been around for 20 years. Starting to get recognized there too. Broad outreach has not been very fruitful. Cold outreach is tough. You're trying to get past the spam filters and that kind of thing, just become part of the conversation. So that's not been great, but I still continue to do it. So most of the growth still depends on my involvement. So as business owners, you know how hard it is to work not only in the business, but on the business. So once you get a lot of clients and you start doing all the work, that you drop off with your business development efforts. So that's an issue that I'm continuing to face as well. So really the next stage is going to require some real systems, some more talent to help me scale the firm. So the conversation is really around how can, let's see here. Again, it's how can I scale beyond the founders? That's me. How can I build the right execution teams? So that's people that are actually doing the work versus having the conversations with the clients. And then how to create more of actually a fractional CMO bench, and that I am bringing on more people who are kind of junior Joels, I guess, who can do a lot of the strategy work. I may still be the face and that go between with the client and my team, but building out kind of that bench of people that I can scale the business so that I'm serving 50 clients and not just 5. And then, so Brittany, to your point, getting more speaking opportunities, I'd love to do more of that. Again, that just increases my firm's visibility, drive more awareness, drive more leads. So that would be kind of the community conversation that I'd love to open up. The things that I would hopefully get advice from this group would be introductions. And so I'm kind of maybe jumping ahead, sorry, to the last question about what are the 4 things that you guys can do for me. But basically it's putting me in front of any firms that you think I could probably help them with. So financial services firms, founders, partners, principals, whatever you might call them. Anybody in that financial services world that you think might be able to use my fractional CMO services. The second would be to, if you have any people you know or in the marketing world who are looking for part-time fractional work, would love to get introduced to them. Anybody also that's in the fractional role. So whether it's fractional like CTO or CHRO or COO or in that C-suite, anybody that is kind of operating in that same world, would love to have those introductions. And then really the biggest thing I get from you guys is just advice. I think we're all business owners, so anything that, and I've only been doing this for a year, so I'm still learning a lot of lessons. And so hopefully we'll get a lot of advice from the crowd about how to build this business beyond just myself. So any sort of advice around that. And one last thing is building the execution team. Like I really like building communities. So my part-time person is here in Kansas City. I get a lot of advice from people saying you should hire people overseas, in the Philippines, and I use those for project basis. But I just like having people here in Kansas City as part of my team, even though we work remotely. And so just maybe some more advice and encouragement to like, yes, Joel, like you should continue to build community here in Kansas City versus trying to scale your operations nationally or globally. So that's, I think, where I can end it. And it's open up for questions.
Yeah, that's perfect. Well, by the way, please sure you have a microphone when you're asking a question. We're recording it. We want everybody to hear you. So be sure, and also please say your name before you
and your business to like, pump yourself.
Your business.
Yeah.
Hello, friend. First of all, great job.
Thank you.
My name is Alicia Logan. I am a fractional HR. So fractional CHRO. So I was like, oh, I literally do this, but in the HR space. So my question is for you. You mentioned it kind of later on. Have you thought about internships, graduate students, things that you can offer credit for? Interesting ways that you can get the employment and deliverables made that may not cost you money. And so when you talk about building out your team, I wholeheartedly think stay domestic if you can. Give the experience to those that, if it were you, you'd want, right? Giving the resume worthy experiences. But yes, I hear you when you say there's only so much of me, because that's literally my current problem. Brittany, I'm calling you. And so with that, do you know exactly at this point, like how many people you need? What does that look like? What their roles are? I'm not talking about full defined job descriptions, but one of the biggest mistakes that I see CEOs do is they say they want to scale their team, but they don't know what that looks like. Mm-hmm. So design it first. Yeah. And then we'll talk because maybe we can better. Okay, great.
Yeah, it's definitely a good point. And yeah, I do have thoughts around kind of what I want people to do. But to your point, I haven't organized that, so I don't have a job description. Yeah, so definitely we need some help there. And I think that goes to the point of just pausing a little bit and being able to work on the business versus the business. I'm working 60, 70 hours a week, like in the business. And then I got a little bit of time between 11:30 and midnight where I'm like, okay, maybe I should actually work on the business. And so, yeah, to your point, the team probably is going to be very small. The person I have working with me right now, she's working 20 hours a week. And again, it is building up her resume because she's only a year out of school. So I'm giving her a lot of training on how to be kind of an expert marketer. But I'm also having to kind of spend more time training her. So my next hire, I think, would be more kind of like a mid-level marketer, somebody that has between 5 and 7 years of experience. The point about hiring overseas is good. We're all operating on margins. We want to be profitable in our business. So when you see $5 an hour for somebody in the Philippines, you're like, oh, fantastic. Versus paying somebody $25 in here in Kansas City. That's what I'm paying my 1 year out of school person. So I think my next hire might be $35 or $40 an hour. And while that does eat into my margins, I think there's a lot more that goes into building the company than that they can start taking ownership of the firm. So when it comes to building out teams, it's not just about the dollars and cents. It's about like if I'm trying to build a business, I want to maybe eventually turn it over to them. So I don't want to have to turn that over to somebody in India or, someone in South America.
But what they do for you, well, the time is worth it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
No,
The
yeah.
time is worth the money.
The time is worth the money. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, nice job.
Thank you.
I'm Mark Cosby.
Yeah.
And I'm with My Remembrance, my own startup.
Okay.
Also with the Killingwood Foundation. We're sending these each week. Melanoma research, baby. It's a whole nother thing.
Hey, I'm in marketing. Promote yourself,
Yeah.
About it. Yeah.
Just in case you noticed the shirt, but 1999. Hey, question I have for you, and something that I'm struggling with myself, trying to understand, I think you're the right guy to ask. It's about LinkedIn strategy. So do you have a presence? Obviously, you have a presence individually. You have one for your company as well. And how do you manage those two? Do you market yourself or do you market your business or both? And how do you do both? I guess is my question.
Yeah, I've got a business coach, and he's pushed me on that as well. Like a lot of times it's me, it's Joel. But if I'm trying to build a business, it should be we. It should be CMO Alpha. It shouldn't be Joel. There's kind of a disconnect sometimes when it comes to the social platforms like LinkedIn. There's so much more engagement when it comes from the founder of firms versus the company. You get a lot more followers with the president or CEO of a firm like Nike than Nike actually has following that brand. People, especially in the social platforms, they want to talk to people individually. And so you should lead with the conversations from the founder. So that's what I try to do on LinkedIn is I post daily content. From a LinkedIn strategy, again, you're trying to offer more value, you're trying to offer more conversations. From a network building, one thing that I've used, this little piece of advice for you guys as you're building your network, I use a service called Dripify that I've used. So what happens is you take LinkedIn Sales Navigator, you create a list of people that you feel like you can do business with. You take that list and then you drop it into this, it's a service or an AI tool that basically reaches out to that list of people in a human-like way as far as the algorithms are concerned on LinkedIn. And so you can send connection requests, you can send initial messages. So it kind of automates that process. And so that's how I'm using LinkedIn to grow my network and become more visible. Because on the algorithms, when you post something on LinkedIn, the content only reaches 2 to 5% of your followers. So I have 5,000 followers right now. And my goal is to grow like 1,000 at least a year. But of that 5,000, when I post something on LinkedIn, only maybe 100 or 200 are seeing that every day. So that's why the consistency of posting more posts, probably 2 to 3 times a week, at least, that increases your engagement on LinkedIn. So yeah, there's a whole strategy around LinkedIn. And I think, I certainly offer more advice if you want to talk to me afterwards. But yeah, there's a lot of things you can do on LinkedIn to build your visibility.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi.
John Kavanaugh, CNB, former wealth advisor, laid off.
All right.
Got that well. But as you're building your niche, because I myself, as a commercial banker, building my niche with female-owned businesses, I created my own network groups. Have you thought of doing that because there's a lot that are laid off in that industry. So if you create your own network group where you're sharing experience and stuff, that will build your reputation and marketing your individual brand. Didn't know if you've thought of that before.
I really haven't. It seems like a lot of work. Do you have some advice on like how to get that network rolling?
I absolutely can help.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's hear it. I'm just kidding. Give advice for the crowd.
When I started a networking group, it's just building. You start off, my first network group, I started off with 3 women with like-minded where we just met for lunch and we shared, and now we're up to over 50 members. So I think it's just the grassroots, starting off with who could be a good referral source or who can share your brand. And then it just builds from there, because then they invite people, and then they invite people, and then they invite people. It's just a natural way to build your individual brand, because you can go into chamber networking and you're only going to maybe find one that might be a good referral source for you. So if you're looking at time value, creating your own networking, I just was a suggestion I thought might help.
I appreciate that. And marketers in general are terrible at branding themselves. You always see marketing agencies and they usually have the worst websites. It's like, well, what are you guys doing? But they're spending so much time helping their own clients. So again, great suggestion. Yeah.
Joel, great presentation. At first I was confused if you were problem was more getting clients or getting time. And then you said a few things. It's like, oh, he needs time.
Definitely time.
Even if you need to hire somebody from India or Philippines or whatever, temporarily, you have to free up your time, or you will not grow this thing. That's the bottleneck. I'm gonna Elon Musk you here for a second. I don't necessarily.
Yeah. No, I'm the bottleneck. I understand. I'm the problem. Yeah. I get it. Yeah.
To free up your time, or you will never grow this thing.
So much easier said than done.
I'm just gonna put it right in your face.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
Nathan Hall, Lefty Media Co. in Kansas City. We get companies and individuals cited by ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Claude. Marketing efforts. Have you considered any type of white label situation? You buy the service from the marketing agency, sell it for a markup. They provide the service frees up your time. Don't have to do much effort on it.
Yeah, no, that's a great suggestion. I actually just signed an agreement with a marketing agency here in Kansas City, owned by David Roberson. His firm's called Azela. He focuses on financial services, financial advisors. So kind of white labeling. So he has a fractional marketing manager role. He's developed as part of his agency. And part of that is kind of fractional CMO model, where that fractional CMO works with his clients for 4 hours a month or 4 hours a quarter. So yeah, I just signed an agreement with him to see what kind of fruit can grow on that tree. So David and I have known each other for a while, and he's built a great firm, and so we're kind of co-opetition in that sense. So again, I do a lot of the execution myself, but to your point, like I can only do so much. And so I think, yeah, that's a great suggestion. Appreciate that.
Hello, my name is Deuce with Community Partners. I'm a fractional CRO, so we'll definitely need to have coffee sometime soon. But my question was, as I was going through your presentation, your PowerPoint, and as you were going through your kind of explanation of your business, you mentioned even working with another CMO, and something I didn't pull out easily was why you. Why do I pick you even over just like your co-host specifically? Like I understand the problem that you solve, your target network, but like why you versus anybody else?
It's a tough question. I appreciate it. Because I think that's the problem that I try to solve with the financial advisors I work with. There's 300,000 around the US. Like, what makes you different? And so what makes me different is that, first of all, there's not a lot of fractional CMOs in financial services right now. So that in of itself makes me stand a little bit more. But the message that resonates most with the people that I talk with, potential clients, is the not only do I create the strategies, but I execute on them. In the age of AI, there's so many ideas available. You can just go to ChatGPT or Claude or whoever and ask it to build you an entire marketing plan. Give me 100 things I should do for my business. Where the expertise and my training comes in is figuring out which of those strategies are correct for that particular firm, but then also executing on them. And that's the hard part. Is with AI, like there are some agentic things that can help you on execution. But since it's such an infancy right now that you really need that strategic partner that is make sure the strategies are the correct ones, they're actually in place, they're being followed upon, they're being executed upon, they're being optimized. So what makes me stand out is the fact there's just not that many of us out here. Now with all the layoffs that have been happening across the US, across worldwide, there's so many people that are coming in and labeling themselves as fractional CMOs if they've never had that executive level experience. So to me, it's just getting and having a conversation. And I think right away people get a sense of that I know marketing and that I really, so financial services is a very unique industry, as you know, like it keeps a lot of marketing agencies out of it because of the complexities around compliance and all the nuances of what you can and can't say in the world of financial services and marketing. And so because I've got such a strong base of experience in financial services. 20+ years. I've worked at lots of different financial services companies. So that deep expertise in the actual industry is what helps me really stand out, actually.
Hey, Joe Flammer with Broadly Summit, also do marketing. And I worked for a fractional CMO in the auto repair space. My sister started the company, came to work with probably about your size when she started. She's up to about 50 clients now. Or no, sorry, 50 employees now. So it's grown a lot. And so would love to talk to you more about that. One thing that we found is hiring people with marketing marketing experience rarely worked for us. We needed to hire smart people and train them. And that's really what worked. So I'd love to talk to you more about that and connect with you after. The other thing, if you're trying to build your company right now, is I don't know if you're doing much networking. I would go to a lot of networking chamber of commerce groups. Probably 8 out of 10 people there are wealth managers. So be your great clients. So
yeah, I appreciate the advice. It's so Emily is the person I hired, and she, like I said, she only has 1 year of experience out of college. She didn't really have any financial services experience, but when you're building a team, it's finding the people that have the desire to learn. They have a foundation of the actual job experience, but it's hard to train initiative and energy and enthusiasm. And Emily right away has taken over kind of ownership of the firm. So she describes it as we and not just me. And so I think that makes me feel like I chose the right person for that role. Chambers of Commerce, I've been to lots of networking events. The problem with me is a lot of problems, but one of them is when I work in a firm here in Kansas City, I try to give a little bit of geographic exclusivity because a lot of financial advisors and firms are going after the same types of people. So if I'm building up a firm's business, if they're going after the same type, people in Johnson County or, Jackson County or Kansas City, and they're all going after the retirees or pre-retirees and helping them with their retirement savings, a lot of messaging is going to overlap. And so that's why, I've got 2 clients here in Kansas City. One specifically focuses in the region, one's more national. But I work with clients all over the United States. So going to those networking events are great because I learn from people about how to build their businesses. But from like a prospecting standpoint, generally they aren't as fruitful as it may seem. So I do try to go to those events maybe once a month or so.
Hi, Mindy McVeigh with Midnight Garden Publishing. I just wanted to speak to kind of that bottlenecking. What kind of CRM system are you working with currently?
I almost exclusively encourage clients to use High Level, gohighlevel.com. It's a pretty robust system, $97 a month. You can't really beat it.
We white label that as well for our authors.
Yeah.
So I just wondered if that was something that you were utilizing behind the scenes.
Yeah, I have a affiliate relationship with a High Level. So if I do recommend a client, I get a few bucks back, but it's the best platform. I think for most businesses, it's kind of step above Constant Contact and MailChimp. It's not the $800 a month behemoth that HubSpot might be. So yeah, High Level is one that I recommend.
Are you utilizing it fully with all of the integrations of your?
Oh, no.
I was just that.
Yeah.
Because, I feel like that would also save you a bunch of time.
Yeah.
If you
No, it
started
would.
actually integrating and utilizing that system.
Yeah, I agree. It would.
If you're interested, I'd be happy to connect you.
Yeah, please. Yeah, please do. Thanks. Yeah. Oh, I did write a book too. So yeah.
Hi there. Is this on? Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Great presentation. Thank you. My name is Madhu Singh. I'm a business attorney. I guess you could fractional CLO if we want to add another term. I have 2 thoughts for you. One, I worked with a business coach as well, and one of the things they had me do was just spend one day writing all the different things I did that day, and that helped me realize what I didn't need was another attorney or another version of myself. It was actually just more of an admin to take that piece of it off. And then I thought I couldn't hire a full-time admin because that's not a 40-hour work, but I also didn't want someone who would leave right away once they got a full-time job. So I really discovered this network of stay-at-home moms and stay-at-home dads. And it's meaningful work, but in the same, so like one of the things that I struggled with is I thought I had to be able to produce a 40-hour work week or 20-hour work week. Turns out 18 to 20 or 15 to 20 was really great for people and can be very meaningful and then grow from there as they have more time. So just an idea for you. And they also were big on carving out 2 hours every Friday as CEO time, just on your calendar so that you don't forget to do the work on yourself. And then my last thing I wanted to share is more about actually the business model. And so as an attorney, the hourly world is what people are used to. But I realize, and then you are always hustling for those hours. So I flipped my model to more of a subscription. And so with the subscription, I have the year committed. So at the start of every year, I already know what the income's going to look like for the year. So now the efficiency is on me in terms of how I produce the work, whether it be AI or another attorney or a paralegal, whatever it might look like. But there is something to say about the business model too. So if you have like a handful of clients and you are giving them each 10 hours a week, is there a way for you to flip it into a subscription where you at least have this much money every quarter or every 6 months? And then that person you want to hire for $45 becomes more realistic. And so time as the owner is a lot about like, do we have enough money coming in to pay to take someone's time, but also that what is it I actually need? And so in my first year, much like you are, like all this excitement, you have all the work, but it's all on you to do everything. So these are just some thoughts that you might consider beyond just networking to get more clients, but actually like what can you do to be more efficient with the money that you're getting in to plan it out differently?
Yeah, all good thoughts. Yeah, CEO time, CEO days, I try to pencil those in, but just like exercise, the gym, like that's becomes less of a priority. And so like, not time, I'll just work. So that's an issue as well. But yeah, to your point, so I do operate on a retainer model. So I'm working with maybe, we had a fee conversation with Brittany. So my retainer model is anywhere from 3,000 to 10,000 a month. Just depends on the size and complexity and outcomes of each of the firm that I work with. And I do kind of block out time. So you could average that out to a per hour rate. But to your point, like it's, if I'm doing $150 an hour work, that's much different than $45 an hour work. And so I'm trying to figure out what kind of ratio that is. So if I'm working with a client, maybe they only really need 2 hours of my time, but they need 8 hours of a marketing manager or a marketing coordinator's help. And so trying to find that mix is kind of the struggle.
Subscription is like you pay for you use it or lose it type thing.
That's kind of yeah. So I've looked in the subscription model. I'm not quite sure how that would fit into my particular business, but I think there's a lot of people in the fractional world that do have that and have been successful. And so I think it's just a matter of sitting down. Maybe I can sit and talk with you afterwards. Yeah. Yeah. Appreciate that. No. Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tin, and I'm with the Social Media Academy. You talked a lot about marketing.
Sorry.
No problem. Probably got an alarm.
Yeah. All right. Sorry. There we go.
No problem. You talked a lot about marketing in the financial services industry. So to give you a highlight, what does that look like? What's the problem that you saw, the strategy you created and executed, and what were the outcomes? Just like to understand more about what the 20 years of expertise does and looks like in layman's terms.
Well, it'd be a long response. The short response is it looks different for every firm, but ultimately it's figuring out what kind of strategy works for that particular firm based on their particular audience. And so it could be a big mix of different tactics and marketing, different strategies, but really it's connecting with the audience and the channel and the medium where they're showing up looking for information, then also making sure that you're tracking all that activity to your end goal. So when it comes to marketing, we're quite often looked as an expense, but if you can connect your marketing activities to revenue, then you look as more of an investment in the firm. So to answer your question,
Do you have like one example?
One example of success?
Correct, like of the firms that you're working with now? Just one strategy, like maybe they wanted younger people or they wanted to grow the amount of clients they have monthly so they can have more leads. What did you create? Like, what does that look like?
Sure. The easiest success is for the people that I'm working with, like the clients, they're looking for people who are retired. So you think about that demographic. They're generally on social media platforms such as Facebook. And so they're not particularly on Facebook looking for financial advisors. So when you're creating advertising, you're kind of doing a pattern interrupt. But just being as part of the conversation, building up that awareness, offering some value, whether it's a lead magnet in your advertising. So I think that's one area that I would look at. If that's where your audience is on Facebook, create advertising campaigns and then develop some sort of giveaway or lead magnet. Have a form on Facebook where you can start capturing those leads, but you also need to make sure that you've got a process in place to follow up on those leads. So utilizing something like High Level to continue to nurture and engage with those prospects.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Some final question. What can we as a community do to help you?
Yeah, I tried to answer that or ask that question a little bit earlier. So just connecting me with people who could be potential clients of me, so people in the financial services world who are owners of those businesses, connecting me with potential marketing people who are looking for fractional work, connecting me with other fractional executives who are operating the same space, just as building up that community. And then any other advice around how to scale your business from an army of one to an army of many.
Thank you very much. So if you have an interest in presenting, you can scan that code, or there's a one to say present, you can do that. And we had two really well prepared presenters today, and that doesn't happen by accident. So if you want to present, it's not like you're up here by yourself. John over here coaches people and does an excellent job doing that. And we have something to say to you too.
We had two fantastic presenters today. I think that they did all the work. So one of our presenters for next week had to cancel last minute. So I'm looking for a presenter next week. If anyone is interested, please come up and talk to me. We'll go through a coaching session, probably on next Monday to get you ready to present. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks again for what you do.